The film opens at the Shaolin School of Martial Arts. The master, Wong, watches his students training and orders his assistant to supervise them as he has an important appointment to attend. The assistant follows Master Wong's orders, leading the students in kung fu practice. We are introduced to one of the students, Fei-Hung, who is Master Wong's son. Fei constantly mocks and ridicules the assistant during the training sessions. Fei is a mischievous young man who always causes trouble. He continues to tease the assistant, making the other students laugh. The assistant confronts him, asking if being the master's son gives him the right to mock him. Fei responds bluntly, saying, "Honestly, your training methods are stupid, and you are a stupid person." He then trips the assistant with his leg, knocking him to the ground and humiliating him in front of the students. The enraged assistant gets up and tries to fight Fei, but Fei is skilled in kung fu and easily defeats him, continuing to mock him. Afterward, Fei sits with his friends, who are also troublemakers, at the market to eat. They spot a beautiful girl named Lin and are immediately charmed by her. Fei does not know who she is, but is very impressed. He bets his friends that he can go and flirt with her. He approaches her and starts talking, then performs a trick, throwing a snake on the ground to appear heroic by lifting her up and pretending to save her from the snake. However, Lin's mother appears and humiliates Fei in front of everyone. Fei is angered by the woman and starts arguing with her and her daughter. Unbeknownst to Fei, Lin's mother is a kung fu master. She warns him, "I will teach you a lesson you will never forget." She proves to be highly skilled, quickly dominating Fei. Fei is shocked by her fighting ability and tries to attack her multiple times, but he is beaten every time. Even Fei's friends are afraid to intervene. Fei decides to leave with what little dignity he has left to avoid further humiliation. We are then introduced to a character named Jerry, the son of one of the town's wealthy men. Due to his father's influence, Jerry doesn't care about anyone and does whatever he wants. Jerry sees a vendor selling a valuable gemstone. Jerry bullies the vendor, trying to take the stone without paying, and even hits the vendor for daring to ask for payment. Fei happens to be passing by and witnesses the incident. He decides to stand up for the poor vendor and fights Jerry. Although Fei is a troublemaker and a spoiled brat, he hates it when someone bullies the poor and powerless. He fights Jerry for the vendor's sake. Jerry is strong in kung fu, but Fei is stronger. Fei grabs him and easily beats him up in front of the crowd. Jerry is forced to grab a sword to try and defeat Fei, but Fei still manages to win, disarming him and holding the sword to Jerry's throat. Jerry surrenders and is practically on the verge of tears. Fei takes the money from Jerry's pocket and gives it to the poor vendor. Next, we see Lin's mother sitting with Master Wong. We learn from their conversation that Lin's mother is Master Wong's sister. Fei arrives at the school and, upon seeing Lin's mother, quietly tries to sneak in. But his father spots him and calls him over, saying, "Come and greet your aunt." Fei is stunned to realize that the woman who severely beat him up is his aunt, and he is embarrassed to show his face to her. His aunt insists on seeing him, and she is shocked to learn that he is the mischievous boy who was flirting with her daughter. She immediately tells Wong that Fei was flirting with her daughter and even tried to hit her. Upon hearing this, Wong slaps his son, knocking him to the ground. Wong is about to continue hitting him when a man named Li arrives. Li is Jerry's father, the boy Fei had beaten up. We see that Jerry is in bad shape from his fight with Fei. Li tells Wong, "Your son attacked my son and did this to him. He broke his leg, his arm, and shattered his bones." Li and his men want revenge and want to beat Fei. However, his aunt intervenes and defends Fei, suggesting they organize a match between Fei and one of Li's men, making it a fair fight. Li agrees and chooses his most skilled fighter to challenge Fei. The fight begins, and Li's fighter is very strong, landing powerful blows on Fei and knocking him down several times. But Fei persists, fighting strongly. His aunt gives him advice on how to defeat his opponent. Fei follows her advice, using a specific kung fu technique, and successfully defeats Li's man. Li takes his men and leaves. Wong is still furious with Fei and tells him he has caused too much trouble today. Wong decides to punish his son with a harsh training regimen called the horse stance. This involves Fei holding the position with a lit candle placed underneath him, so if he rests, the candle will burn him. He must remain perfectly still for 5 hours. The assistant trainer monitors him to ensure Fei doesn't cheat. The assistant is delighted by Fei's predicament, remembering how Fei humiliated him earlier. He decides to increase the severity of the training, pouring hot water into a bowl placed on Fei's head, all while mocking and provoking him. However, Jimmy, Fei's friend, appears with a chair. He quickly places the chair under Fei so he can sit and rest. But Fei's bad luck prevails. His father sees him sitting on the chair. Wong tells Fei, "I must bring your uncle, Chai, to beat you himself." Wong cancels the horse stance punishment and devises an even harder one. He ties Fei up in the air, leaving him suspended with a large, water-filled jar hanging from his neck. Jimmy appears again, rescues him, and feeds him because he is starving. After that, he frees him from the rope. Jimmy asks Fei if his uncle Chai is really coming to beat him. Fei sadly confirms it. Jimmy exclaims, "That's a disaster. Haven't you heard about your uncle's training? He is said to be extremely harsh. In one of his training sessions, your arm could be severed. I knew a student who trained with him once and ended up deformed, losing his teeth and hair." Fei becomes terrified by what he hears from Jimmy. Jimmy advises him to flee immediately. Fei takes his advice and escapes. But he first enters a nearby restaurant because he is extremely hungry. He sees a rich man sitting alone, so he goes and sits with him. Fei orders almost every item on the menu. The rich man is astonished by Fei's eating, as he eats quickly and voraciously, as if he has never seen food before. Fei had been undergoing severe training from his father all day, which made him starving. After Fei clears the table, he quickly leaves. When the waiter asks about the bill, Fei tells him that the rich man sitting there is his father and he will pay. The waiter confronts Fei, telling him the rich man is actually the shop owner and he, the waiter, is the owner's son, accusing Fei of being a thief who won't escape the bill. The restaurant workers surround Fei. Fei claims he forgot his wallet and will return with it, but before he can run, a giant man named Gorilla appears, blocking his way. The workers start gathering around Fei and hitting him. Fei manages to fend off all of them, but when Gorilla approaches, Fei cannot deal with him. Just then, an old man appears and defends Fei, saying it is dishonorable to gang up on one person. The old man starts striking the restaurant workers. The workers underestimate him because he is old, but the old man turns out to be a master of martial arts. He leaps around the place as if he were a young man, defeating all the workers and finishing them off with ease. He then escapes with Fei. They go to rest in a safe place, and Fei thanks him for the help. When Fei asks for his name, the old man says his name is Master Chai. Fei then tells him about another Master Chai who has made his life miserable and forced him to flee the school. Fei starts insulting the other Master Chai, saying all the insults in the world. It is then revealed that the old man is indeed Master Chai, Fei's uncle, the very person Fei was insulting. Chai tells him, "I came to this city to train a failure named Fei." When Fei realizes this is his uncle, he bolts and tries to run away, but Chai appears everywhere he tries to flee. Chai immediately begins the training, telling Fei, "Your father paid me, and he asked me to beat you, and I will do it. Your training will take a full year." Fei tries to strike Master Chai, but he is no match for him at all. Chai grabs him, beats him, and humiliates him to teach him manners. Fei tries to use some of his kung fu techniques, but Chai is one of the most skilled fighters of his time and blocks all his strikes. Chai uses a specific kung fu style called the Drunken Master style. He then sits on Fei's neck and tells him, "You will train whether you like it or not." At this point, Fei surrenders. Chai takes him to his home to begin the training, which starts the moment they enter the house. Chai beats him to make him strong and end his mischief, telling him, "From today onwards, your only answer will be yes, sir, and at once, sir. Otherwise, I will humiliate you." That night, while Master Chai is sleeping, Fei tries to take advantage of the situation and escape. But he is surprised to find that Chai has tied his toe with a rope. Chai calls him out. "Come here, clever one. You thought you could escape?" Fei replies, "Not at all. I just wanted to go to the bathroom." The next day, the Real training begins. Chai makes him stand on 4 large jars, one of which is filled with water, and orders him to transfer the water from one jar to the other. Fei is frustrated and has reached his limit, so he devises an escape plan. He jumps into the water-filled jar and pretends to be drowning. At first, Chai thinks he is fooling around, but then he feels it is serious. When he goes to check on him, Fei pushes Chai into the jar, quickly gets out, and traps Chai inside by placing a large rock over the opening. Fei then runs away as fast as he can. Fei reaches a secluded spot to rest and dry his clothes, but he is confronted by a dangerous person named Thunderleg. Thunderleg asks him, "What are you doing here in my house? Get out of here immediately." Fei does not know who Thunderleg is. Thunderleg is a hired assassin who commits murders for money. Fei refuses to leave until his clothes are dry. Thunderleg gets angry and says, "I must teach you manners." He immediately attacks Fei, knocking him onto a fire, which burns him. Fei tries to attack Thunderleg and strike him, but Thunderleg turns out to be a very strong kung fu fighter with rare martial arts techniques. He beats and insults Fei, telling him, "You are a total failure at kung fu." Fei tries to attack him again to prove he's not a failure, but Thunderleg grabs him and brutally beats him, showing no mercy and striking him with full force. He then kicks him, sending him flying. Fei is completely weak against Thunderleg. Thunderleg utterly defeats him, stepping on his face and humiliating him. He tells Fei, "You need 20 years of training to be able to defeat me." Thunderleg forces him to crawl under his legs and then kicks him. He then takes Fei's clothes and burns them in front of him. Fei is extremely upset and broken, running away from the scene. Fei is infuriated that Thunderleg beat and humiliated him that way. He decides he must train well to return and take revenge on Thunderleg. He decides to go back to his Uncle Chai to train him. Chai is sitting alone, frustrated that he failed to train Fei. Fei arrives and enters, trying to apologize and talk to him, but Chai initially refuses. Fei gives him something to drink and sincerely apologizes, telling him, "I want to come back and train with you." Chai forgives him and starts the training anew. Fei trains seriously to be ready to face Thunderleg. Chai trains him intensely, teaching him the real kung fu techniques. He starts treating Fei like a son, showing care for him. The next day, he ties Fei's leg and makes him fill a bucket with water using only thimbles. The training is very difficult this time. Fei notices Master Chai has fallen asleep, so Fei decides to cheat. He unties himself, quickly fills the bucket, wakes Chai, and tells him, "I finished. I filled the bucket." But Chai knows he cheated, and as punishment, he gives him even smaller thimbles and orders him to empty the water and return it to where it was. Fei is frustrated but has to obey. Chai then asks him to break walnuts with his bare hand. Fei tries but fails. However, he keeps training and trying, as this exercise will strengthen his nerves. With time, Fei manages to break them with his hand and succeeds several times. He tells Chai, "I am exhausted from training and want to rest." Chai takes him down to the city and enters a place where a group of people are gambling. Chai puts down money and bets on the games. Chai is skilled at these games and manages to win a lot of money. However, a thug named Ironhead is annoyed that Chai keeps winning and decides to challenge Master Chai. Ironhead quickly manipulates the game, but Chai is focused and catches him as a thief and a cheater. Ironhead causes a commotion, steals all the money, and runs away. But Chai catches him like a thief before he can escape. Fei tells him, "Return the money you stole." Ironhead says, "I won't return anything. If you want the money, come and fight me." The two engage in a fierce fight. Ironhead is strong, and Fei is struggling to fend him off. The fight lasts for a while until Chai hands Fei an iron hammer. Fei takes the hammer, hits Ironhead with it, and smashes his head. Fei returns to his training, focusing on strengthening the nerves in his hands. Shortly after, we observe that the hand of Master Su Hai begins to tremble, and his wine is finished. Su Hai asks Fei to go down and get him some wine from the market, giving him the necessary money. However, the irresponsible Fei takes the money and goes to eat at a restaurant, wasting Master Su Hai's funds. Afterward, he fills Su Hai's bottle with water instead of wine. Su Hai was eagerly awaiting the wine, and the tremor in his hand intensified. Suddenly, Ironhead enters to see Su Hai, accompanied by his older brother, Bamboo. Bamboo had come to avenge what happened to his brother and introduces himself to Su Hai. Initially, Bamboo did not know he was facing the famous Master Su Hai, but upon learning the truth, he became frightened and started to leave. But Ironhead stops him, saying, "Do you really believe this is Master Su Hai? Can't you see how his hand is trembling? This certainly can't be Master Su Hai." Bamboo is convinced by his brother and immediately attacks Su-hai. Su-hai couldn't defend himself against Bamboo because the nerves in his hands were weak, allowing Bamboo to dominate him and inflict a severe beating. At that moment, Fai finally arrives and witnesses the scene. Su-hai yells at Fai, "Give me the wine, you scoundrel!" Su-hai takes a drink of the supposed wine and discovers it is water. Bamboo attacks Su-hai again, nearly finishing him off, but Fai intervenes and saves him. Fai and Su-hai fight against Bamboo, but Bamboo overpowers them both and severely beats them. The two are forced to flee, like cowards. They wait until Bamboo leaves, then return to their home. Fai feels intense remorse because he caused their defeat. He had wasted the money and failed to bring the wine Su-hai requested. Su-hai tells him this is the first time in his life he has been defeated, the reason being his loss of strength without the wine. Fai objects, saying, "If you had hit me and taught me your fighting style, I would have defeated Bamboo, instead of teaching me boring push-ups and other exercises." Su-hai laughs and informs him that he was preparing him to learn the secret style, which is the Drunken Master style. Su-hai begins to drink, and then starts teaching Fai the style, which relies on the fighter becoming drunk. He explains that this style is full of secrets and deception, the most important being that the opponent thinks you are weak or defeated, while you only pretend to be weak in order to win. Su-hai and Fai continue drinking all night until Fai passes out. The next morning, Fai begins training in the Drunken Master style, applying all the instructions he received from Su-hai. His physical fitness improves greatly, and he carries out all these instructions while intoxicated. We move to the school of Master Wong, Fai's father. Li comes to him to discuss an important matter. Li wanted to buy some land from the villagers, but Master Wong intervened and asked the villagers not to sell their land to Li. Li asks Wong why he interfered, and Wong replies that he knows his intentions and why he specifically chose those lands, because there is gold beneath them, and Li wants to buy them cheaply. Li is surprised that Wong knows about the gold. Li offers Wong 20% of the gold's value if he convinces the villagers to sell the land. Wong refuses the offer, stating that the gold belongs to the poor villagers, and he will not allow Li to carry out his plan. Li feels insulted and leaves with his men. However, he sends a message to the mercenary assassin Thunderleg, offering him $100,000 to kill Master Wong. Thunderleg accepts the offer. We return to Fai, who goes to Master Bamboo's school and finds him standing among his students. Fai decides to attack Bamboo to take his revenge and claim his right. Fai displays powerful skills after learning from Master Su-hai, and Bamboo did not know that Fai had learned the art of the Drunken Master. Fai gains the upper hand in the fight, and halfway through the battle, he drinks wine to become more drunk. Bamboo attacks him, but Fai skillfully parries his blows. Fai continues drinking until he is completely drunk. When Bamboo sees him drunk, he thinks he will easily win and underestimates him. But Fai grabs him, dominates him, and strikes him with full force until he easily defeats him. After taking his revenge, Fai takes 2 large barrels of wine from Bamboo's school and returns with them to Master Su-hai as a gift, but he is surprised upon entering the house to find him gone. He finds a message left by Master Su-hai, writing that his training is complete and that he has taught him all the martial arts he will need in his life. He advises him to practice the fighting style he loves and has mastered, reminding him that the Drunken Master style is one of the strongest forms of Kung Fu. He also asks him to return to his father and be a good boy, assuring him that he will come to him whenever he needs him. Fai feels sad because he had become very attached to Master Su-hai and did not want to leave him. We move to Master Wong's school. A student comes to Wong and tells him that Li's men are digging in people's lands. Wong moves with the student, who lures him into the desert. It turns out that this student set a trap and led Wong to Thunderleg. Thunderleg immediately attacks Wong, introducing himself as a mercenary assassin hired to kill him. Wong challenges Thunderleg, saying, "Show me your best." The fight between them continues, and Thunderleg dominates the battle because Wong, due to his age, couldn't keep up with him. Wong falls to the ground after a severe beating from Thunderleg, who was about to finish him off. At that moment, a loyal student appears who brought Fai with him to save his father. Fai is surprised when he sees Thunderleg again. Fai is given the opportunity to take revenge for what Thunderleg did to him before. This time, Fai was brave and not afraid of him, speaking to him with confidence. Thunderleg says, "This is the end of both you and your father." Then Su-hai appears and gives wine to Fei. Fei drinks it while fighting Thunderleg. Thunderleg was dominating the fight, but when Fei drinks, he manages to confront Thunderleg. Su-hai had brought fast-acting wine, so Fei quickly gets drunk and is able to evade all of Thunderleg's attacks. Then he attacks him, striking him with full force. However, Thunderleg was not an easy opponent, and he hits and strikes Fei with all his strength. But Fei focuses and uses all the techniques he learned from Master Su-hai, and whenever he started to sober up, he would drink again. This time, he gains the upper hand against Thunderleg and controls the fight. In the end, he manages to break his neck and finally defeats him. Thus, he has avenged himself and his father, with the credit going to Master Su-hai, who believed in him.